Wondering if Bitcoin can go back up and how high it could go? More importantly, if it doesn't, how do you control risk when it crashes? In this video, I'll show you a strategy to catch huge gains in Bitcoin with a fraction of the risk of buy and hold. In a few seconds, you'll know exactly how this works. You're about to see what $10,000 would have compounded into with one simple strategy that takes less than 5 minutes a day to manage. And stick around because I'll share a game-changing pro tip that most traders miss, which can skyrocket your consistency. I'll show you the exact rules for this strategy in just a minute, but first, here's why buy and hold is such a terrible idea for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is extremely volatile. There is always the chance that it will crash and never go back up. This is why most people barely own any Bitcoin at all. It's basically all at risk, and they aren't sure how to control that risk. That's the beauty of having an actively managed strategy that is proven to capture monster moves and get out before extended crashes. Have you ever bought Bitcoin or any other investment, watch it go up, felt great, and then watched it go back down and turn into a loss? I know what it's like because I used to do that all the time until I learned how to use valid signals and systems to follow big moves. I'm Andrew Falde, founder of Navigator.com. I was a trader struggling with inconsistency until I built rules-based systems that got me funded by hedge funds and Wall Street firms. The system I've been trading in Bitcoin has generated some impressive returns. It was originally designed over 8 years ago to trade equities and has worked very well ever since. And now I use it on GBTC. That's the grayscale ETF for Bitcoin. This strategy would have turned $10,000 into a compounded $997,378 over the past 8 years. Important note here, these returns include results after the system was built several years ago. That means this includes out of sample returns and it's not over-optimized or overfit to past data. As you can see, the drawdowns are very small, especially compared to the massive drawdowns you experience as a buy and hold Bitcoin investor. So I have good news and bad news for you. First, the bad news. I'm not going to give you the full details and parameters of the trading model that I'm running for myself. I may release that in the future, so subscribe to hear if and when that is available. But the good news right now is that I will give you all the details for a very similar model that would have worked almost just as good during the same period of time. Those details are coming up in less than a minute. If you had followed this system, it would have generated and turned $10,000 into a compounded $793,607 over the past 8 years, with way less drawdown than holding Bitcoin. All right, so here are the rules for this strategy. First, you set up a 165-minute chart. That's just half a day. But you can use 120-minute if your platform and your broker don't allow 165-minute charts. If you had to do 165 for it to work and it didn't work at 120, it would not be a reliable system at all. So 120 or 165. Then put on a 10-period average and a 100-period average on the chart and add the RSI indicator set to 14-day lookback, which is probably the default setting. When the price is above the two moving averages and the RSI is above the midpoint, which is 50, then that is the buy signal. And when any one of these three things is not true, then you exit. Simple, right? And for the compounding, I only roll back in 20% of the profits, not 100%, since increasing size too quickly can put you into a drawdown when you otherwise would have been profitable. And like before, you can see the benefits of using a quality signal to actively get into massive momentum Bitcoin trades and get out before Bitcoin has its signature massive pullbacks and extended crashes. Next, I'm going to show you the code for automating this strategy. So we'll go through a couple visual examples after that, and then I'll give you the game-changing pro tip to skyrocket your consistency. Okay, so if you use easy language, here's the code that you can use. It's pretty simple, right? just a few lines of code to model the strategy and execute. There's one little bit in there about net profit, which is only for back testing compounding. It's recommended that you handle the compounding manually on your own. And it's always helpful to see some visual examples. So let's go through a couple of those. You can see the two moving averages on the chart. The blue is the 10-period average. The purplish line is or magenta maybe that's called, is the 100. And down here is the RSI. And I have it set where there's actually a line at the 50 level, and it changes colors on either side. It being red or blue is actually irrelevant because being above is actually part of the buy signal. So at this first trade, you can see that all three conditions were met, and the final one to be met was crossing above the 100 period average. So being above both averages and the RSI was already above 50 is the buy. And the sell signal here is because the only one thing failed was the 10-period average. And then here, kind of buried, and you can see where these losses are very small and very quick, that you can have the buy signal here and immediately get out, because if it had rolled back down, you would be in a big drawdown. But it gets right back in again because the next day closes above, and it gets in and has a small win there. And then you get some whipsaw. So Bitcoin's really not doing anything. It's not our job to take a fast-moving, high-growth opportunity and try to range trade that. We're just trying to capture big moves at this point, and I'll save range trading for something that may not explode and is unlikely to explode to the upside. So here we allow pullback to come in, gets below the 100, gets back above, and then we have RSI cross above as well. So that's our buy, and then our sell here. Looks like a combination might be, well, RSI would have been a day later, so it is just the short-term moving average on that one. So, and then there's multiple more trades in here that you can see. And then the better example coming up is here, and that is where we get one of the bigger moves. And this isn't even really, I picked a time frame that showed the good and the bad at the same time. So you see the whipsaws, you see the small wins, you see some more whipsaws, and you see the big win come later in the series, and then a couple more small wins. So that's some visual examples of what your chart setup would look like if you're going to follow this manually or verify your automation in there. And by the way, if you like that I just shared the results and details of dozens, if not over 100 hours of work to build these strategies and give it to you for free. If you like that, if you think that's valuable, click the like button. The more likes I see, the more I will make videos like this one. And speaking of more videos, hit the subscribe button while you're at it so that my next strategy video pops up in your feed. Now let's talk about expectations when following a system like this. And this is where we get into that game-changing pro tip. All right, so the average trade that is held in this strategy is held for a little over 3 days. And the typical losing trade is held for just about a day and a half, okay? And the winners are held for over 6 days. And it allows them to run, right? And when it's wrong, it gets out quickly. And your win rate in this is about 1 out of 3, maybe just a little bit better than that. And what's interesting is that I used to trade exclusively higher probability strategies. But I learned over the years that there are great benefits to choosing some lower probability strategies as well. And that brings us to the game-changing pro tip. Lower probability systems, especially when automated, don't feel low probability. That's because the losses are small and quick, and the winners are large and held for a long time. So you actually spend more time in winning trades than you do in losing trades. In fact, on my trading platform, I have a list of all open positions from all my automated systems. Typically, 90 to 95% of the positions are profitable, and a few trades are slightly in the red. And if they stay in the red much longer, they will be closed. This is not because I'm always right, but because the wins are held for so much longer and they are much, much larger on average. Now, I run dozens of different strategies and time frames all at once, which is really only possible because I automate my trading. I couldn't keep track of everything myself. I just don't have the time and attention to detail to do that. Some people can, I know, but not me. Automation allows me to be consistently profitable, get into fast-moving stocks, and control risk better than I ever could on my own. If you'd like to learn more about automation, including additional examples and details of other trading systems, then click the link that's popping up on your screen now to watch an in-depth presentation on how to build and manage automated trading systems. And if you're concerned that this isn't applicable to you because you don't know programming or coding, no worries, because you don't need any prior programming or coding experience to automate your trading. When you go through this free training, you will get the detailed rules for strategies that have been working for several years. And if the link doesn't work or you can't get to it, you can simply go to learnautomatedtrading.com to watch the free training. So let's recap what we've talked about today. Bitcoin is very volatile. Buy and hold is way too risky. And automated trading helps you ride the upside without getting crushed by extended crashes. If you found this video to be valuable, tap that like button so I know you want to see more. If you're ready to learn automated trading, to be in more winning trades and reduce human errors and stress of manual trading, then go to learnautomatedtrading.com to watch a presentation. Remember, you don't need any experience in programming or coding to quickly automate your trading. Thanks for watching. I'm Andrew Falde, and I'll see you in the next video.